Welcome to another gripping episode of history, where ambition, power, and warfare reshaped the ancient Greek world. The Peloponnesian War, a brutal and relentless conflict between Athens and Sparta, determined the fate of Greece and set the stage for centuries of political change. From legendary battles to cunning strategies, this war was more than just a military struggle. It was a clash of ideologies and cultures. Before we dive into this monumental war, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into history's greatest conflicts. Now, let's begin our journey into the Peloponnesian War. The Peloponnesian War was not an isolated event. It was the culmination of decades of tension between two powerful Greek city-states, Athens and Sparta. Athens, the naval powerhouse, was the leader of the Delian League, a coalition formed to protect Greece from Persian invasions. Sparta, the militaristic land power, led the Peloponnesian League, an alliance of oligarchic states wary of Athenian expansion. These two rival states had long been uneasy allies, but their opposing political systems, democracy in Athens and oligarchy in Sparta, fueled distrust. As Athens expanded its influence and wealth, Sparta and its allies saw it as a growing threat, leading to the inevitable outbreak of war in 431 BCE. This war would unfold in multiple phases, each shaping the political and military landscape of Greece for generations. The war began when Athens, under the leadership of Pericles, imposed economic sanctions on the Spartan ally, Megara, escalating tensions. Sparta, led by King Archidamus II, launched an invasion of Attica, forcing Athens to retreat behind its long walls. Pericles, believing in Athenian naval superiority, refused to engage in open land battles and relied on supply routes through the sea. However, disaster struck Athens in 430 BCE when a devastating plague swept through the city, killing thousands, including Pericles himself. This unforeseen catastrophe drastically weakened Athens, but the war raged on. Athenian naval forces continued to harass Spartan coastal territories, while Sparta's army periodically laid waste to Athenian farmlands. The prolonged stalemate led both sides to seek a temporary peace, resulting in the Peace of Nicias in 421 BCE, a treaty that ultimately failed to bring lasting stability. With the war in a fragile truce, Athens sought to expand its power by launching an ambitious military expedition to Sicily in 415 BCE. Led by Alcibiades, Nicias, and Lamachus, the goal was to conquer Syracuse, a Spartan ally, and gain a foothold in the Western Mediterranean. However, the expedition was plagued by poor leadership, shifting loyalties, and disastrous strategic blunders. Alcibiades, accused of sacrilege, defected to Sparta and revealed Athenian war plans. Nicias, overly cautious, delayed decisive action, allowing the Syracusans to strengthen their defenses. Reinforced by Spartan general Gylippus, the Syracusan army outmaneuvered and crushed the Athenian forces. The once mighty Athenian fleet was destroyed, and thousands of soldiers were either slaughtered or enslaved. The failure of the Sicilian Expedition was a turning point that left Athens severely weakened and vulnerable to future attacks. Following the Athenian disaster in Sicily, Sparta seized the momentum. With financial backing from Persia, Sparta built a formidable navy to challenge Athenian supremacy at sea. Under the command of the brilliant general Lysander, the Spartans launched a series of decisive campaigns that slowly choked Athenian power. In 407 BCE, the Battle of Notium marked a shift in naval dominance, weakening Athenian morale. Sparta further intensified its siege efforts, and in 405 BCE, at the Battle of Aegospotami, the Spartan fleet ambushed and destroyed the Athenian navy, cutting off vital grain supplies from the Black Sea. With their economy in ruins and the city besieged, Athens was left with no choice but to surrender in 404 BCE. The once mighty Athenian Empire had collapsed, and Sparta emerged as the dominant power in Greece. With the defeat of Athens, Sparta imposed severe terms on its former rival. The Athenian democracy was dismantled and replaced by an oligarchic regime known as the 30 Tyrants. These rulers, backed by Sparta, unleashed a reign of terror, executing or exiling political opponents. The iconic Long Walls of Athens, symbols of its naval power, were torn down as Spartan forces celebrated their triumph. However, Spartan rule soon faced internal resistance. In 403 BCE, a democratic uprising, led by Thrasybulus, successfully overthrew the 30 tyrants and restored democracy. Meanwhile, Sparta's dominance began to wane due to its inability to govern Greece effectively. The rise of Thebes and later Macedon under Philip II marked the beginning of a new era in Greek history, signaling the decline of Spartan hegemony. The Peloponnesian War left a lasting impact on Greek civilization. Decades of conflict had drained resources, devastated cities, and shattered the unity of the Greek world. The war exposed the weaknesses of both Athenian democracy and Spartan militarism, leading to widespread instability. Despite its destruction, the war also contributed to intellectual and philosophical advancements. Thucydides, an Athenian historian and former general, meticulously documented the conflict, providing invaluable insights into the nature of war, political power, and human ambition. His work remains a cornerstone of historical analysis even today. The war also paved the way for the eventual rise of Macedon under Philip II, whose son, Alexander the Great, would go on to reshape the ancient world. The power vacuum left by Athens and Sparta created opportunities for new leaders and empires to emerge, influencing the course of history for centuries to come. The Peloponnesian War was more than just a struggle between Athens and Sparta. It was a war that reshaped the Greek world. It demonstrated the fragility of power, the consequences of prolonged warfare, and the ever-changing nature of alliances. This conflict serves as a reminder that even the mightiest civilizations can fall due to internal divisions and relentless external pressures. What do you think was the most significant turning point of the Peloponnesian War? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. See you in the next video.